Hello gremlins! It is a new vlog, but weirdly enough, same series as the end of last vlog. I'll get into that in a sec. Hello gremlins, I am very tired. My name is Catherine, but I am very tired. So I'm gonna take you to my kitchen to make coffee because I just got everything set up for work. I have time before I actually start work, so I'm gonna run down and go do that because I desperately need coffee. I'm wearing this very fun Hocus Pocus shirt that has, this reminds me so much of like the early 2000s. It has like the cool sleeve pattern. It's rolled up because the weather is weird today, but I have scare actor orientation tonight and I'm using my Emily Binks backpack and I wanted to match my backpack. So I wanted to look like a put together person today. Also I have a doctor's appointment. It's a really quick thing, but I have that today too. It's a busy day, but let's go get coffee and then I will talk to you more. I just wanted to open the video, my dear gremlins, so that it had an opening that made sense, but I need coffee. I need coffee so much. So to the kitchen for coffee. And we're back after the brief, very loud kitchen interlude. We have a water thing next to my coffee pot and it decided to be incredibly loud today. But I have coffee now. Thank goodness. Oh. So hot. Okay, I'm not even remotely caffeinated enough, but let us continue. So in the last vlog, I read so many random books, but I ended with Clown in a Cornfield and Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives. And then I was saying my library didn't have the third one and I was gonna see. So last night, I go to my library and I drop off books, I look around. I did pick a new release up that we'll talk about later in the vlog when I get to it. But I go up to the front and I'm like, oh hey, one, my library is doing a very cool raffle. So I wanted to get raffle tickets. It was just, I had some cash, they're cash only kind of thing. So I get the raffle tickets and I'm like, I wanted to know, could you like purchase, like, could I put in a purchase request? Like, I don't know if you have this book. And she was like, oh, what book is it? And I was like, oh, Clown in a Cornfield 3. And the librarian's like, we definitely have that. And I was like, really? Because like online, I typed in, this is my own fault, I should have done author name, but I typed Clown in a Cornfield and books 1 and 2 came up. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And so I was just like, maybe they never got the third one. Maybe there wasn't enough interest. So it was raining and I was also tired yesterday. So I kind of like went and I was like, oh, like grab the book off the new release wall because it's like right when you walk in, when you use the not slippery marble entrance. And I just like didn't go into the YA section to look, which is where it would be. And she was like, yeah, let me double check. So she checked on my new release. I'm filling out the tickets and she was like, yeah, we should have it. Let me just call upstairs. And so she very nicely called the librarian that works the second floor to just like go grab me the book. She's like, could you just grab and bring it down? And I was like, oh, thank you. Sorry. I just like must have missed it. I'm really sorry. And behold, they had Clown in a Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo. Now I did figure out why I didn't find it under a Clown in a Cornfield. They have it in the system just under the Church of Friendo, which I think is very interesting. Also, if you hear loud cars, it's trash day on half of the street. Our trash day was yesterday because it got bumped by Labor Day. So there's just a lot of like garbage trucks out, but I got it. And because last night was you are so noisy. Because yesterday was football kickoff night. So it was the first official game of the NFL season and Krista's doing fantasy and she had some she doesn't have any players until Sunday, but she wanted to see the kickoff game. We started that at like 8:15 and so I just read while the game was on and I'm like a little over halfway through. So I was like, okay, guess we're starting this vlog with Clown in a Cornfield 3, just a continuation of the last vlog, which is fine. I just like didn't realize they were gonna have this. So this vlog is going to be this book for sure, the new release I picked up, and then I'm hoping to get to a book I purchased that I haven't read yet. So I know 3 of the books for this vlog and that may be it. I don't know. I'm waiting for a hold to come in still. So again, brief recap. There's a short story collection that I've been looking for years. Haven't been able to find it, couldn't remember the name, just knew the premise of one story. Oh, we're good. Premise of one story. And I was having no luck. Like, haven't been able to find it on Google, haven't been able to figure out this book. I'm gonna put this down. and I ultimately emailed my former library. So the library I used growing up in Ohio is the one I knew I got the book from. So I messaged them and I was like, hey, do you have any idea what this is? I know I got it here. Like, do you have my checkout records? Do you have anything that I could reference to help me out? And they're like, we don't keep checkout. Like, you can apparently see your checkout records, but they had to be enabled. So there's no record of anything I checked out, which is nice. And I thought it was a long shot. Like, I was like, I have no idea. So they were like, give us a little bit, we'll look around, we'll try and figure it out. They did actually figure it out. So I am waiting for the short story collection All Hallows Eve, 13 Terrifying Tales, I think, by Vivian Van Velde. And it's not in yet. Like, I have requested it and it just is waiting. Even though no one has checked it out, even though it should be in transit by now, I think it's just to taunt me. So I'm waiting for this book to come in, and I want to give it, at this point, a designated vlog because I've been talking about it since the short story vlog. So yeah, that won't be in this. So the plan is those 3 books, and then hopefully at that point, the short story book will be here and I'll do a separate vlog for that. But yeah, let's get into I will try not to spoil. This is so hard because this is the 3rd in the book. So assume there will be mild spoilers just because you're gonna know who has lived so far, but it makes sense because there are main characters in slasher stories like this. So I'm not gonna read you this full description. I will just tell you what I've read so far. Non-spoilers, I promise. So ultimately we were following Quinn Mayberry, who moved to Kettle Springs in Clown in a Cornfield 1. She is in every single book. This one, she is our primary perspective. We are following her on a mission of kind of revenge, sort of. She's tracking down people that she knows were connected to the attack on Halloween. So that's the events of book 2. She's trying, sorry, I have asthma and it's been okay this morning, but like, I'm just like sporadically coughing and I don't know why. It's my asthma, that's why, but it's just being annoying right now. So this book focuses solely on her trying to track down people who assisted people who wore clown masks, who were wearing clown masks in Kettle Springs, who were involved with everything that happened on like that Halloween weekend in Kettle Springs, where her father was injured, so that is a part of it, but she also just like wants to stop these people because they're kind of ruining her life. She's been on this journey for about a year, and she has now been accused of killing someone, and she says she didn't kill anyone. She remembers very clearly how the events with that person ended, and that person had their head because this person has been beheaded. She is fleeing the cops kind of, but also like trying to continue to figure out like where is this coming from? Like, who is the source at this point? Like, where are your orders coming from? Because it's all very internet based, and it's all very like, they have some kind of network. So Quinn's been tracking it down, and along the way she has wound up picking up a kid named Johnny D, who is not really involved but is now involved, and the 2 of them are trying to figure out like what is like, who are these people, who is still kind of leading this sort of like Church of Friendo, that's what it's called, but it sort of the Church of Friendo. So we're following her while she does that. We are also following some other points of view. They've done this, so Adam Cesar has done this in other books where you get like little bits and pieces. We've got like a little bit of Quinn's dad so far, and we're getting another point of view whose name I knew I was gonna forget. Oh gosh. Where is it? Tabitha. We've also gotten the point of view of Tabitha as another sort of key person. Tabitha is living in a very rural society that is similar to the Amish, but is not the Amish. It was a religious community, and someone has come in and altered her religious community, and she doesn't like it, but she is 13, and they're very adamant that like the new influence that has come in is dangerous, and Tabitha is in danger if she goes against it, but she's trying to like figure out how to survive, how to get through, while noticing very strange things happening, while knowing horrible things have happened in her community. So Tabitha is kind of Quinn-esque, I would say, but she can only act so much because she is in danger, and she's in the middle of nowhere. There are no resources, there are no phones, there are no cars, there's nothing. It doesn't even seem like they have horses and buggies. Like, there's been no mention of a horse. A cow? Yes. No horses. So I'm like, do we not have horses? I mean, maybe there is a horse and I haven't seen him. But like, they have nothing. There is nothing but a creepy church. So very interesting so far. They did almost make you think that Tabitha's were a prequel of sorts, in the way it was set up, because it is so rural and so like there's no technology, we go to a one-room schoolhouse, but you gradually learn that that may not be the case. I am enjoying it. It's very interesting to me. I also love religious horror, so I'm like really digging Tabitha's parts. There though has been so much finger removal. I need everyone to know that since oh, almost coughed. Since this happened, where I inadvertently lost part of this hand, I swear to you, every book I read tries to include some kind of damage to someone's hands. Someone has a pinky chopped off in the prologue, which, whole pinky. And then someone else has parts of their hand, like parts of fingers, cut off with one of those swing line paper cutters. And like, as they were describing it, I was like, oh my God. Cause I used to work, like I worked in an office. I had one of those for a long time. And I would have to use those all the time. And I was like, oh, I hate these. I hate these. Cause they're so, I'm terrified of a swing line. Cause like it, and like, it's just a big blade on a pole. So I was like, ugh. And it happened. The thing, I was like, oh gosh. Okay. But that's your update so far. Me freaking out about hand trauma, while people's fingers are coming off. But I am enjoying it. I am liking seeing Quinn's story. I will say we are not getting as much of previous characters, because this is kind of like, all of Quinn's stuff is kind of a road trip. So we're not really in one place with Quinn, so other people aren't as involved. But I am planning to finish this. I have a little time still, like a little before work, and then I'm going to bring it with me while I'm at my doctor's appointment to read while I'm waiting, because I will ultimately be waiting. There's always waiting, even though this is supposed to be like a 5-minute appointment. I'm getting a shot, one single shot, and it always takes forever. So yeah, it's fun. But yeah, so I'll be reading that. I'm going to try and finish it today. So this weekend I can move on to other stuff, because tonight, I don't know that there's football. I mean, there is, but I don't know if we're watching it. Saturday we might be doing something, maybe. And then Sunday is football all day, so I'll be reading most of Sunday. So yeah, but I will talk to you later, Gremlins. I'm going to try and read a little before I start work, so I can fill you in spoiler-free on my final thoughts on Clown to Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo. I went to do 3 and my hand did 2. 3, we're on the 3rd one. But yes, so I gotta go. I will talk to you later, Gremlins, when I have an update for you. Okay, back. Sorry, that like, I felt like there was something in my throat and I don't have anything to drink, so I was like, I'm either gonna cough very loudly on camera, or I just stopped filming. So this was a very cool way to end a trilogy. I would say this does feel like an end of a trilogy, and if he does write more, that it would fall outside of the realm of like this specific story, but maybe you would do like prequels about some of the characters we've met before, or the founding of Kettle Springs. I would like to know more about like Friendo themselves, like actual Friendo outside of the Friendo movement. Just would like to know. Also, some stuff does get very gross. There's some people eating people moments that I was not expecting. So did enjoy. I'm glad I read the series. I would read more if there were like other stories written. The next book in this vlog is going to be The Dead Husband Cookbook. I will not be reading this for a while today. Might not even be reading it until like tomorrow or even Sunday, but this will be the next one. And I got so excited because I suddenly realized I have read from this author before. Danielle Valentine wrote Delicate Condition, which I loved. I really enjoyed Delicate Condition, the book. Like, I was very into it. The American Horror Story adaptation was bad. Like, I didn't even finish it. It was so bad. Also made absolutely no sense, because the whole point of Delicate Condition is it's an older celebrity. Like, not someone who's, like, seen as young or youthful anymore. And, like, they cast Emma Roberts. And I was like, no, that does not work. I know you love working with her, Ryan, but no. It didn't work for me at all. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. It just, like, didn't work in any way for me. But the book was very good. So I just know that Gabby Reed's read this, and I don't believe she was like super into it, but my library had it, and I was just like, the cover is very cool, and I do love a book that involves food. And that is weirdly, this is gonna sound so weird, weirdly nostalgic because my mom used to listen to the audiobooks for, I don't know what they're called anymore. Oh crap. I know they're like the key lime pie murder. We listened to that on a family vacation, which is why I always remember that title. The chocolate chip cookie murder. I cannot remember this author's name for the life of me, but it follows like a woman who like bakes and owns a bakery, and then like gets drawn into solving these murders, and they always had like recipes in them, and this says there are recipes. Like there's something about recipes in here, but like this is a bit different. I'm gonna read you the blurb on the back instead of the blurb on the inside because it is very detailed. So you're gonna get the one on the back because it's a little bit less detailed. So, one husband, well done. Everyone thinks they know the grisly story of Damien Capello's death, but now, after decades, beloved cookbook author and TV star Maria Capello is finally ready to break her silence about what truly happened to her husband that terrible night, because there are all too sinister reasons why Damien's body was never found, and why, in over 30 years, Maria has never revealed the secret ingredient in her most famous recipe. Now, if I remember correctly, Gabby Reed says there's not really any people eating people in here. It's just like alluded to or like a thing, but I don't know. I am intrigued. Ooh, fun. There are recipes. Perhaps I will try one. We shall see. Depends how difficult they are. I don't particularly want to do anything really exciting right now. Also, the temperature is still weird, so making stuff in the oven makes my kitchen very hot. But I'm very intrigued to read this, especially now that I realize this is from, that's my bookmark, that this is from the person who did Delicate Condition. So very intrigued, very excited to dig into this. Also, I'm starving. I just think this cover is so cool. I don't know. I really like the cover. I'm also very hungry. I need to eat something, which is going to be awkward. But for me, not for you. You're not going to see it. I have to eat at my desk, and sometimes that's tricky for me. Just depends on the day. But I need to go. That was the last little bit of time I had. So I will talk to you at some point, maybe tonight, to talk about how my orientation went. I'm just wearing this outfit. I showed off my outfit for my interview, but I'm just wearing this with my Emily Vinks Tombstone backpack. Not that they really care how we're dressed. Also, this is so bizarre, and you probably really don't care, but I am only wearing my wedding band because I am terrified that in scare actor-ness, I am going to hit my engagement ring, which is like my plussed up engagement ring. Anyway, hit my engagement ring on something and a diamond or like a gem or whatever will fall out of it, because it did actually get hit by a door at one point and a stone fell out and we had to get it replaced, and that is going to be far more expensive now because like the price of things is wild, and I just like, I'm terrified that that will happen. So I'm not wearing it until I'm done scare actoring, which means I have it in safekeeping somewhere that it is secure and protected until basically November. So I will only be wearing my wedding band. I may supplement some like fun rings for like outfits or something, but it just feels weird. I feel weird wearing only my wedding band, which I did for a while, but like I've been wearing that other ring for a very extended period of time, and so now my hand is like, I am naked. But I gotta go. I'm just rambling now. I will talk to you later, gremlins. Hello, gremlins. I'm gonna slouch so my head is only kind of cut off. We are at Destiny USA in Syracuse, which I realized I say like Canadians. I was watching a bunch of videos with Carter Sullivan, and she says it how I say it, and she's in Canada. What's up? You already got it. Yeah, I already got it. Yeah, it even says has been whatever.
It's out for delivery.
Yeah.
Has been delivered.
We
could not be delivered.
Oh my gosh, we have it. So, 1911 Cider Company, is that what they're called? They're upstate New York cider and orchard, like hard cider orchard thing. Had a delivery out for us today, and the guy did actually put a note that said it wasn't delivered, but he actually, like, I yelled and he came back and I signed for it. So it has Haunted Hayride in it, which is their new pumpkin spice cider that's replacing my favorite candy corn cider. But Krista got me a couple cans at the grocery store because she happened to see it, and it's actually pretty good. Very pumpkin spicy, like very what it is. But I'll show it to you later in this video. Maybe I'll have one tonight so you can like see the packaging and stuff. But yeah, so today is Saturday. It's very rainy, so we're doing a little rainy day trip to the big mall because Krista's looking for a jersey. There is a Spirit Halloween, and there's a Barnes and Noble. Oh my gosh, that's so goofy. It just keeps telling her like the package was delivered, the package wasn't delivered. It's delivered, it's in our kitchen. But brain. So we're gonna walk around. We're probably gonna get PF Chang's for lunch. And I'll take you for some stuff. Just film a little bit. But I didn't tell you about yesterday. So I had Scare Actor orientation, and I got to walk the trail, which they're still working on because they have to build a lot of stuff. And then I got to walk through the haunted house, and the haunted house is done. So it was like fully decorated, fully ready to go. They completely changed the layout. We didn't like really meet the people in the haunted house. They did point out to us who the doctor would be and who a character named Dolly is. They're early in the like haunted house walkthrough, and then it turns out one of the people that I auditioned with, she is in the haunted house too, and she's the final scare, so she's playing a nurse, and I'm victim of the doctor, and I think I figured out what room I'm in. We have a run through next week, so we have like a rehearsal on Friday, so I'll like know more, but I know I'm wearing blue scrubs that are supposed to look like I'm wearing like a patient outfit. The only reason I think we're in blue is maybe so you can tell us apart from the doctors and the nurses because they're in white, but I don't know, because it's an asylum and I feel like normally in shows asylum people are in like white, but we're in blue. It's already like prepped from last year, and then like I'll have a costume that I check out when I work and put on and then like take back. But we did the whole thing, signed like a I will not sue if I get injured on the property kind of deal, which I knew I'd have to sign because it's you're not like it's so weird. We're technically employees, but we're not like registered employees of the company, but they have a list of people who are working the haunt. So we're like contractors kind of. But I think that was it. It was really cool. I was excited to see stuff. Also found out that they'll do run-throughs where the people who are working the trail will walk through the haunted house so we can practice, and then the haunted house people will go through the trail, and then Krista might be able to come on the 20th for the dress rehearsal because I'll need some extra people to like help do stuff because there's so few of us in the haunted house that we won't really make for a big audience on the trail. But yeah, so it was fun. I'm excited to see what happens next week. We're gonna shop and walk around, but yeah, I also need to get shoes because they didn't tell us we needed to get shoes, but also the trail people have to wear boots, but we can't wear boots because we're not like on the trail. Like I would need like faux Vans or like those like Tom's shoes or Bob's or whatever, something that doesn't have laces and is flat. Would like sell it more, and I can always fake blood splatter them myself just so I have like shoes that I think work better. But yeah, so it was really cool. They're building a bunch of stuff, so we'll have like a little character area to get ready in, which they kind of had last year and the year before, but not really. They said it was in like a different building. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. Apparently I'm stressing Chloe out though because I'm not home and it's nighttime and she doesn't know where I am. So that'll be fun. But well, not fun. I feel bad that she's stressed out that I'm not home. So she like was very excited to see me when I got home. But beyond that, the haunt officially starts at the end of September, and it runs from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, but we may go later if like tickets are purchased closer to 10 and they like want to make sure everyone gets to get their tickets worth. So yeah, we'll see. It's way different this year though because they're gonna have more food trucks and they're gonna sell alcohol and have actual security. So yeah, I'm very intrigued, very excited. I'm glad I'm in the house. I believe the house even runs if it's raining because the trail can't, but they said if it's really bad they just like won't open the haunt because sometimes it's really rainy. But we're gonna go inside. I'm wearing a very fun Binks sweatshirt from Hocus Pocus. We're gonna walk around, try and keep dry, and you'll get to come along a little bit, so be ready for some mall clips. Talk to you later, gremlins.
You should never know it.
Hi gremlins, we are home. I put on my Goosebumps pajama top. Chloe is squishing Krista into submission. We had a really nice time at the mall. We found out that we're getting a melting pot at Destiny USA, which is incredible news because we were trying to go on a melting pot date and it's too far away. So now we know we'll be able to go in like November. We think, early November. What was I going to say? But yeah, it was nice. We walked around. I showed you some of what we did. Krista found, she was trying to find like a Patriots jersey or Bengals or for specific players.
Panthers.
Yeah. But she has 3 Patriots players. So she wound up getting like a Patriots shirt that was comfy and not wildly expensive because some jerseys are really expensive. So we found that and then we walked around a little. We got books, which I will show you. And one of them actually is out early, which is exciting. So yeah, we got books and then we got P.F. Chang's, which was really good. The thing I got was like teriyaki beef and it was new. But it's tasty. We're just gonna relax now because we're pretty tired. We'd planned to sleep in a little bit later, but we literally got a delivery like wildly early this morning. So we just got up and then we headed out. So here are books real quick and then we're gonna lounge. So the first one is Coffee Shop in an Alternate Universe, which is queer. I'm not gonna give you like the full thing, but Brenda meets Kat. And there are sparks. And then next one Krista picked up. It has really cute sprayed edges, actually, like really cute, like all the way around. It's called Fall I Want, which is apparently part of a series because there's a thing on the back about it. And it's a feel-good, spicy, small-town romantic comedy with a billionaire who falls first and harder. Grab a pumpkin spice latte, a warm fuzzy blanket, and make your way down to Cozy Creek. So we got this one. This one's a straight romance, if you couldn't tell from the cover. And then, I hadn't heard of this one, but it's called You've Goth My Heart by Elsie Rawson. And I'd have to open it to read it to you.
Wait, look, Chloe tucked in her pig.
Oh, that's so cute. She did. Adorable. So this one, I'm not gonna read you like the whole thing, but it's when Gray gets a text from a wrong number, he hopes it's not the local serial killer, or worse, his ex, on the other end of the line. At any rate, it's definitely not the obnoxious, if cute, new goth guy in town. So this is like texting and like a cute queer male romance. So picked up like very fun Halloween-y fall romancy stuff. So I'll probably be reading that before I will be reading those before too long. That's how I would phrase that, yes. So I'll have the books in this vlog. Like, I'm still keeping to the ones that I have planned for this one. And then when that short story collection comes in, that's getting its own video. Then I'll probably read some of these. Technically Fall I Want is Krista's, but I might read that before her if I have time. So we shall see. But we are going to get cozy and possibly nap. So I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I'm less sleepy. Hello, gremlins. It is football day. It is now the afternoon of football day. It's like 1:30 almost. I have made lunch. I made Cincinnati style chili. So basically that's fake Skyline. If you've never heard of Skyline, they serve pasta with chili on top and cheese, and you can do onions. So basically made a 4-way, which is pasta, chili, onions, cheese. I added a little hot sauce, and I'll show you that before I close the clip. But while Krista is watching football and after I eat, I will be reading The Dead Husband cookbook, which I have started a tiny bit of. We're following Thea, who was actually about to get fired from her agency as an editor, and she's been specifically requested by Maria Capello, who is actually her icon. Think Ina Garten, Martha Stewart, that kind of thing. She is a well-known, beloved, like, I don't want to say TV personality, but like cook sort of, but she rose to popularity after the death of her husband, which was mysterious and eventually ruled a suicide. But she's writing a memoir, which is code word The Dead Husband Cookbook. That's the faux name of the book until it's published. And we are currently with Thea. I think there'll be various points of view because Thea's chapters are headed. We haven't gotten anyone else, but she's about to go literally to Maria Capello's farm where a number of her TV shows were filmed to edit this manuscript, because she's like, I need you to edit it on my property. You can't have copies, there can't be emails until everything is done and ready to go. So I am enjoying it so far. I do think that while it says thriller with a hint of horror, this is going to mostly be like a thriller. I felt like Delicate Condition was the same way, mostly thriller, and then there was like a horror element near the end in terms of the baby. But I do think I'm gonna enjoy this. I like don't know Valentine's writing style, so I'm looking forward to reading more. But let me show you the chili super fast. Oh, and I am actually drinking the Haunted Hayride. Yes, I know I said it's like 1:30, but it's a Sunday and it's football day. But this is the pumpkin spice cider from 1911. It is very pumpkin spicy. I'm really enjoying it. The label is very cute. I am sad they're getting rid of my trick or treat cider, but I have some stockpiled. But I'm gonna eat my chili before this cat does. Hello? Thanks. I didn't make the chili for you. He just took a piece of cheese. This is the chili. There's cheese, there's chili, there's onions in the chili instead of raw, and then pasta. But I'm gonna start eating and let Krista unmute the games that she has on. So talk to you later, gremlins. Bye for now. Hello again, gremlins. Krista has very politely muted the TV because almost everything is on commercial right now. There are 4 games on this television set. I'm not going to show you because I'd have to angle you, but I finished the Dead Husband cookbook. This is definitely a thriller, and also Danielle Valentine is setting it up so you can guess some stuff because there's just no way. Like, as you're reading it, there are moments that are dropped in so you can catch them and you can be like, oh, Thea, you dumb. Well, Thea's not dumb. She just like isn't putting things together as quickly. Like, there's a mention of blue eyes. There's a mention of like, oh, I totally buried some money on the property, and Thea like brushes it off like, oh, well, obviously your boyfriend's girlfriend wouldn't care about that. I'm like, what? Of course she would. We learned some things. This all does tie up a bit like Delicate Condition. So it did remind me of Delicate Condition in the fact that everything really does tie together. Everything is connected. Everything is pre-planned, pre-done, but I still had a fun time. The writing is quick. The reveals are earlier for you than for the character, but it prepares you for scenes to come. So I was okay with that. There is a lot of focus on animal preparation. So if you're not really into learning about how your pig goes from farm to table, there are some scenes that might make you uncomfortable. I was already aware of these things. For a fun fact, I was vegetarian for a long time, and I actually watched those like DVDs that PETA used to send people for free. So I had seen all these things. Also seen them in movies. So it doesn't shock me. And yet I am still eating pork now. I am no longer a vegetarian, but I know how the sausage gets made. And this book wants you to know how the sausage gets made. There are continuous hints to like cannibalism. Did she eat her husband? Did she not eat her husband? And I felt very proud of myself because I did guess something. So I did guess the secret ingredient. I will not tell you what it is because it's not what you think going into this. But it was fun. I probably won't make any of the recipes in here. They're very heavy recipes. They're very like time intensive recipes, and I know how to make a meatball. I'm gonna keep making meatballs the way I make meatballs. I don't need her recipe, especially because she said it wouldn't be as good as hers anyway, in a very Martha Stewart-esque tone, which FYI, if you didn't know, Martha Stewart typically leaves out an ingredient that makes the recipe actually taste like Martha Stewart's. I don't know that officially, like as a rumor, she normally leaves something out so that your recipe is not as good. So think Martha Stewart in that sense. But I had a fun time. I have no complaints. It was fun. It is guessable. Again, I don't star rate books, but I think this is a fun time if you want to read like a quick, easy breezy thriller. I do have another book in my office that I need to grab, Perfume and Pain, but I will show you that when I get to it. I am having a bit more cider. I might eat some potato chips because I'm a little hungry, and I was just finishing off a box of pastas, so they weren't like huge pastas, but I need to go. The games are back. It is raining a lot in some of them, but yeah. So did enjoy the Dead Husband cookbook. I'm gonna get this back to the library on Tuesday. That is new release day, and I'm gonna try and see if they put new releases. Sorry, I totally had to burp. On the wall, there's like a wall of new releases, and you can't request them. You just have to like luck into getting them on release day. So I did ask Krista if we go to the library on Tuesday, and I can try and luck into getting a bunch of books because there's so much stuff out on Tuesday. But I'm gonna go so Krista can watch her games. But I finished my book, and I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I'm reading my other book. Possibly about food, I'm not sure. Talk to you later, but there will be more book updates today. Hello, gremlins. Football is over. It is pretty late because there was a game at 8:10 and that just finished, and now it's like 11 something. 11:40, very late. This does explain how I finished the second book. So I've also finished Perfume and Pain by Anna Dorn. So this story, there is a description on the back of this, and admittedly, it's relatively solid for a background synopsis, but this is definitely litfic. I feel like this came up in someone's video, and I don't know if they knew the genre or not. Like, this almost looks like a horror cover. Almost. But this is definitely litfic. We follow Astrid Dahl, who has written 3 books. One of them has been optioned for a movie, and currently it's in the phase of like the person who optioned it, like her studio. She also wants to be the lead, and she's very invested in knowing more about Astrid. Astrid is also dealing with the fact that she's kind of a hot mess. She has previously done something, it's called the Patricia Highsmith, where she basically does drugs and drinks and then insists that that helps her write, but it also causes her to black out and make horrible decisions. She winds up in 2 different relationships in this. One very manic relationship and another that is very odd. We also learned that Astrid is, she's 36? 36? I think she's 35. 35 because she's 36 later. She dates primarily 27-year-olds, which is like when she got her first book published. So like, is she perhaps trying to date herself because she dates seemingly women who write things or women who are perhaps not very stable? I would say, in the best way possible, this is a bit like reading from the point of view of Jenny Schechter in The L Word, if Jenny Schechter had been in Generation Q. She is just like manic, does see there are problems with her behavior, is surrounded by people who are very odd, and just like indulge her in some capacity. Some don't, some do. Her agent is consistently upset with her. What she writes seems very drawn from her real life, and she just winds up in drama. And also there's a scene where Ivy, this woman she gets with, that also happens in here a lot. She'll say girl because she thinks that's a fine word to use, and people correct her and are like, well, she's a woman. But she gets with a woman named Ivy, and there's a scene that very much reminded me of Nikki and Jenny in, is it season 6? It has to be season 6, right? The like final season of the original run of The L Word, where they're working on Lay Girls. Reminded me of that. The L Word is mentioned in this a lot, so maybe that was like why it was top of mind. The L Word and Carol. There's also a relationship in here that does feel very Carol-esque, and it feels very intentional. Now, the title of this book itself, Perfume and Pain, is drawn from a book mentioned in the book called Perfume and Pain. I did not look up if that is a real book, though. It might be. It's a lesbian pulp novel that our main character winds up very kind of interested in. And it is something that appears throughout. Also, our main character is obsessed with perfume. Like, really, really obsessed with perfume, which is why I think the title of the pulp novel is made up, because she's obsessed with perfume and keeps putting herself in situations that cause her pain. And then the perfume then, like, reminds her of the pain. So, yeah, very litfic, very just, like, following Astrid as she's doing very, very probably not great things. It's an enjoyable read. Like, it is very queer litfic. Very, very gay litfic. So I had a fun time reading it. It's just like, this is definitely like litfic. There's not really, I feel like it's one of those books where there's not really a plot. It's just everything that's happening to Astrid is being presented to you, and it's more like a stream of consciousness. This is how my life is going story. But again, I did enjoy it. I got this from the, long story short, bookmobile or mobile bookstore. And so I'm glad I got it. I had a fun time reading it. I would possibly revisit it, after maybe rereading Carol. There's a discussion, like an analysis of Carol, both the book and the movie, which was interesting. And maybe I've looked more into lesbian pulp novels. But we're on to the probably final book of this vlog, because I'm going to try and go to the library on Tuesday, which I was talking about, to see if I can get some new releases. So the next book we will be reading, I know my arm was covering the camera, sorry. There we go. Is The Extraordinaries by TJ Klune. I got this in a blind date with a book, also from Long Story Short mobile bookstore, and this follows Nick Bell, who writes popular fan fiction about The Extraordinaries, and he meets Shadowstar, Nova City's mightiest hero and Nick's biggest crush, and Nick is no longer satisfied writing about heroes. He wants to become one. So he sets out to make himself something more, something extraordinary. So this is like a queer male-male romance with superheroes. I had never heard of it. I had no idea TJ Klune wrote this at all. I had only ever heard of the like House in the Cerulean Sea book. So I am intrigued, but also this is huge. Like, this is a very thick book and the font is very small, which surprises me because this is a YA book, but this is hefty. So I'll be reading this one, which will probably take me a little while just because it is so big. And then library on Tuesday, because I have to also return The Dead Husband cookbook because it's a new release, so it has to go back pretty soon. I'm gonna put this down. So yeah, I will update you sometime tomorrow on The Extraordinaries. I do not believe I will be reading any more tonight, so I don't know when I'll update you tomorrow. It is already late, and I think I might just like put it on some YouTube and go to sleep. And I think I got bit by a mosquito. I noticed it earlier, and I was like, when would I have gotten this? And I went outside earlier, and I think I got bit by a mosquito while I was outside because it was rainy and wet, and there are a lot of mosquitoes. So yes, I am tired. The yawn wasn't intentional. I'm just tired. But yeah, so I'll be starting this and filling you in when I have something to fill you in on. So I will talk to you sometime tomorrow, Gremlins, after I've had at least some sleep. Good morning, Gremlins. Okay, so I have the tiniest of updates, mostly because I need to motivate myself. So this is The Extraordinaries, which I told you I was reading next. I went with my Captain Marvel shirt to like get some superhero energy. I have coffee in this cute mug with little like skeleton cats and puppies in costumes, and there's a cat tail on here somewhere that I can never find when I'm trying to. Let me take a sip of coffee. And cough, apparently. Okay. I have read very little. I should not be making decisions this early in. I am not going to change and give you more details because there's nothing really to give you. I'm only on chapter 3. I do not want to DNF this book because I bought it and I will read it, dang it. I just don't know that I'm gonna like it. So the opening of the book is this I will give you. So the very first section of the book is an update to the fanfic that Nick writes about Shadowstar. Yes, Shadowstar. And he apparently like took some time off. I'm gonna put this down. Hadn't really done anything on it, and then like wrote a new little chapter, very short, ended on a cliffhanger, and he's like relishing the positive comments, and then like someone's like, Shadowstar's not gay, and then he's like, well, my fans will take care of this. And I was like, okay, like that commenter should not be here because it's obviously like a queer fic fandom space, but also like, what? Like, it was just like very odd, and I was like, okay, whatever, like you probably get crappy comments all the time and you're just like ignoring it. And then he's like so fixated on Shadowstar. Like, he comes down for breakfast and like he's very combative with his dad. Now admittedly, this is one of those plots where I think his mom is the mom is no longer around, and so he is like, I don't know, like his relationship with his dad is fine, but also like odd. And he's a teenage boy, like junior year of high school teenager, so like fine, he is allowed to be a little like surly around his parents. It's like a common writing thing, but I'm just like, okay, fine. And also I think his dad is a cop, and like his dad was at a scene where Shadowstar was, and so he's like trying to like get info out of him and being like, oh, we should invite Cap over because like the captain is like a friend of his dad's, and he's like, no, what? Like that was kind of odd, but it was fine. I was like, okay, you just want to know more about like the guy you're obsessed with. And then we like move into him headed to school, and we meet his friends. So we do get to meet, we've kind of met, oh, the cats are playing with a toy. The cat, my brain broke at that point. Okay. We do meet his friends. So there's Nick, his friend, is it Skylar Gray? His Tumblr / fan, like Seth Gray. Seth is normally his beta reader for his fic. We meet Seth and he's like, you seem taller, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. But like, they're kind of at odds, which was odd. It sounded like something was going on. He was like upset because like Seth had a boyfriend, I guess. We learned Seth is bi. And like, Nick is kind of like weird about it. It was really strange because he was like mad that Seth had a boyfriend or like was interested in someone. And then we meet his two friends, Gibby and Jazz, and they're dating, but like the setup of them felt very odd to me. So like Gibby wants to be a very like butch lesbian, and that's totally fine. I love butch lesbian rep. But then TJ Klune uses a word that like I am confused why that word was used. It rhymes with bike. And I'm like, this is a junior in high school, and I doubt she is using that word to define herself. And also, like, I don't know that I want you using that word, sir. Because I am correct, right? TJ Klune is a dude. Yeah, TJ Klune is a dude. I just, like, while this says queer, right? This is what this says. I'm turning a page. Yeah, being queer himself, Klune believes it's important now more than ever to have accurate, positive queer representation in stories. I just like, in this day and age, I don't know that a high schooler would use the word that rhymes with bike to identify herself, because typically that word is not used. It is used by like older queer women sometimes. Also a certain slur is sometimes used by older gay women, gay men. It sometimes comes up, but like, I don't know that a high schooler would say the word that rhymes with bike to identify herself. Butch lesbian? Sure. Butch? Yes. Word that rhymes with bike? No. I don't see that being a thing that they would choose to do. What else? Jazz is fun. Seems a bit flighty in the description, which is fine. I don't know. I just like, I read that and I was like, sir, is that a word we should use in a YA book? Because that's not a word collectively that the queer community agrees on. Like, some people do not like the word that rhymes with bike, and they don't like when people use it, and some people are fine with it. I just don't know that high schooler would use it. I don't know that needs to be in this book. I don't know that was, like, that's such a weird nitpicky thing to do, because that word was used a lot in Perfume and Pain. That and the word that rhymes with, you know, the slur. I'm not going to try a word that rhymes with. It's just this one in particular I wanted to highlight. I just think it's a weird choice. Like, Perfume and Pain was an adult book, and it was an adult kind of stream of conscious book from the point of view of a lesbian woman. She's a lesbian. I was gonna say queer woman, but she doesn't like being defined that way. So like, from a lesbian using that word, fine. Lesbian using that word to define other women around her who have maybe told her they use that word, fine. YA book where a dude wrote it, I'm not as comfortable. Like, reading it, I'm like, I would have been, like, I'm a little annoyed that it's in there. Just because this is a dude who's writing this. Like, did he have a beta reader who wanted that character to be identified that way? Because, like, you don't have to use the word that rhymes with bike when you're butch. You can just say, I'm a butch lesbian. You don't have to say, it's just weird. I'm sorry. I'm so hung up on it because, like, it's not common to see that word used in YA books, because it is a word that in some situations is considered a slur and has been reclaimed by some people, but is not a word everyone likes to use. Now, also the word queer runs into that, but that one has been more kind of, I don't want to say co-opted, but the word queer is more often used now just to kind of collectively refer to groups of people. That word that rhymes with bike refers to a very specific set of people, and again is not collectively agreed upon as a word that they want to be using. It is like a case-by-case basis, and again, I don't know that we want to introduce that book into a YA story that is primarily focusing on a male-male romance, because that word, I still don't think the current generation, like young high school generation, would use. I don't think they would. I think they would say lesbian, yes. Queer, yes. Butch, yes. Just don't think they'd use the word that rhymes with bike. I'm sorry I'm like hitting my hands together, but I'm like a little frustrated that it's in there. And like, and like Nick's connection with his friends was a very awkward, like kind of info dumpy, and also like I don't know, like something about it, like Nick feels reserved. Now they have mentioned he's on some sort of possibly ADHD or migraine medication, so I don't know if we're supposed to be reading into that, like maybe the medication is making it harder for him to connect with people. I don't think that's the case. I just don't know. So we're gonna keep reading. I'm just like, I read that and like I was reading some of it and I was like, Nick, like could you chill? Like I get you're a stressed out teenager, but also like you're probably 16, 17. Like I don't know that you're supposed to still be like, I feel like combative teen is something I would expect from like 13, 14, 15. And then by the time you can like, they're in New York. So I guess, well, fake New York. Like, I guess maybe he wouldn't drive a car. I still don't drive a car. But like once you get to a certain stage where you're like prepping for college, because junior year is like that college prep year, I just don't know that you're as combative as opposed to like maybe withdrawn or annoyed. I don't know, something about like how he's being presented as a character isn't making me want to care about him, which it's very early. I am also like, I was like, I'm gonna read this and I don't know that I'm actually in the mood to read a YA romance focused on superheroes, but we're gonna try because I would like to read it. Just because I have not read it yet and I feel like I need to, but I don't know, something about it is just like rubbing me the wrong way. So I will update you when I've actually read at lunch or something to a point where I can have more thoughts. I just like, I don't know why this update is so long. I just like, I don't know. Okay, I'll stop hitting my hands together. I'm gonna go. I do actually have to get work stuff going. It is almost the start of work time, but I just like, I don't get it. I truly do not get it. I like was not expecting to immediately begin, because I've read superhero queer romancy stuff before and I've actually enjoyed it. So I don't know. I will try and be in the zone during lunch and like get more invested. So something about it is just like not clicking for me, which like the book is 400 pages, which is also like, why? That's so long. Anyway, I need to go. I need to go, Gremlins. I will update you when I can on this book. I will plow through this. I am going to. I'm not going to DNF it because I paid for it. So yeah, I'm going to do it. I will do it. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go, Gremlins. Wish me luck. Okay, sorry. I read that wrong. The dating thing. Seth wasn't dating Owen, Nick was dating Owen, and it was like a weird thing, and I felt like I needed to correct myself because the way I read it, like, it just like threw me off. So Seth has not dated Owen. Nick has, and apparently Owen is a jerk. FYI to you. I just thought I should correct myself. So I don't know why Nick was being weird with Seth then. That confuses me even more now. He was like mad at him for being taller than him, and like, you said stuff came up and you couldn't beta read, it's fine. But it was like very tense. I don't, the dating thing made more sense to me, and now it's the other way around. And I'm like, oh crap. I did read it wrong. I apologize. I just wanted to correct myself really fast. But also like, why is Nick being weird then? Like, anyway, I'm gonna go. That was just like corrections with Catherine, because I'm a dope. And I just misread that because they were like going back and forth and I lost it because yeah. Anyway, I need to go, Gremlins, but I need to correct myself. So Seth did not date anyone. Nick dated Owen. They're broken up. Owen is a jerk. There you go. All right, talk to you later, Gremlins, when I have an actual update that's not I read something wrong. Okay, bye for now. Hello, Gremlins. It is very near the end of my lunch break. I've read more of this book, and I have some general notes. First, this book is too long. Like, it is too long. Two, Nick definitely has met both, what's his face? Shadow Star and, like, Pyro Force? Is that his name? Hold on, it was just on a page. Hold on. Pyrostorm. Yeah, he's met them. He knows them. The reveal of them is taking way too long because one of the reveals kind of already happened and got like laughed off, like, oh no, you're totally not, that's so funny. And I'm like, dude, this is 400 pages because you're not listening or paying attention, which is wild because he says one of his dreams is to like open a detective agency after serving on the force as a cop / detective. I'm like, dude, it is remarkably obvious that you know one of them for sure. I know he knows both of them because there's no way he doesn't know both of them based on like descriptions and odd like, oh, what's that? What did you do? Situations. For sure he's met both of them. It's just taking a really long time for that reveal to happen, and I'm like, I am only halfway through this book and it's taking way too long. On top of that, Nick's plan to become an extraordinary is annoying me. I feel so bad. But it is annoying me. And like, it seems to be annoying his friends too, who are like, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to be an extraordinary? On top of that, they mention other extraordinaries and they say one extraordinary like has mysteriously disappeared. And I think that's another reveal. I think that's going to get revealed at the end, like what happened to that extraordinary in particular, or like where they are. So I don't know. I'm also not entirely sure. So they keep mentioning the specific medication that Nick is taking, and it is for his like ADHD, but I think it might be more than that. And I'm very curious if we're going to have him like forget to take his medicine or stop taking his medicine and something's going to happen, which I don't like as a plot because like people need medication for some things. I'm on a ton of medication for my asthma and you can't just like stop that cold turkey. Like, it's not safe for you. Also, it's not safe to stop any medication typically cold turkey, and I think that's what's going to happen, and it's going to reveal something. That's a guess. I have no idea. But like, I'm not a huge fan of that as a thing because like, I feel like you should still like, yes, embracing something about yourself as a superpower is great, but I'm also like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen and I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know that for certain. I could be reaching. So it could be fine. He could just like have ADHD and it not be a problem and he can still take his medication so that he can focus at school. Yeah, I just like, so many things have been presented so obviously and it's actually bothering me at this point that Nick's like, oh, like he's just not grasping it or noticing it or acknowledging. And like the cover also makes one of these things kind of obvious, but that's fine. Cause like we got two scenes where very clearly a character, let's see, was like, is this the thing? Oh no, this is a different thing. Hold on. I actually marked some stuff. I don't want to write in this because I think I'm going to donate it to the library or put it in like a free little library. Where is it? Yeah. So like he's doing something and we see two characters either not show up to school or leave school. And then it's like, oh, extraordinaries events. And I'm like, yeah, because it's these two people and it's taking so long to get there. Also there was another scene where like a character is like, I have to go deal with this thing mysteriously. And I was like, Nick, come on, put it together, man. He also, even like earlier on, he did, cause like meeting Shadowstar is part of this. Shadowstar knows things. Like there are slip ups periodically from either Shadowstar or this character. And I'm like, bro, I just need you to take like 5 seconds and like acknowledge that, put it together with something else that just happened and you would know who Shadowstar is. The other thing, like this is too long. Like this is being drawn out too much when like we know Nick is very fixated on being extraordinary. So maybe that's distracting him. But like some of this is so obvious. And as someone who really wants to know the extraordinaries or like meet Shadowstar, you would think he would be putting it together as opposed to like not thinking about who Shadowstar is in real life. Because I would think once you figure that out, you could date him. But like, that's not what's happening here. And there's like a section that's very much like, teen boys have a short attention span. Teen boys, like as though it's trying to tell you like, this is why he hasn't figured it out. I'm like, but he wants to be a detective. Like he's obsessed with extraordinaries. Why isn't he doing this? Like what? So it's bothering me that it's taking him so long. And then this is an odd nitpick. I'm so sorry I'm like picking this book apart. I just think some of it is too long. And a number of things have been presented to Nick where I'm like, Nick, come on, buddy. Come on. You should have this. This is the weirdest thing. This is the weirdest nitpick. There is a scene where Nick and his dad are talking about baseball. Baseball specifically. And his dad's like, oh, I invited the captain over. He and I are going to watch baseball. And then this is the line. You'd have to stay for all 9 innings. Longer if it goes into overtime. They don't call it overtime in baseball. You call it that in football. I also believe you call it that in soccer. In baseball, it's extra innings. Like, it very specifically has its own thing. And if you're, like, very into baseball, I don't think you would call it overtime. Because I was like, it's not. It's extra innings. Because they don't, like, add time. You just keep playing in baseball for a very long time. That was just, like, a weird nitpick. We're drawing it out far too long when like I want Nick to figure it out. We also oddly haven't gotten like any more clips to his story. Like he wants his fictional character to also be an extraordinary. So we wrote like a cliffhanger where like Nick of the story, not Nick of, so Nick in his fanfic, not Nick himself, suddenly has powers. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But like his readers even kind of annoyed. And then he's just like done. Like, cause he hasn't figured out how to be a hero himself, like an extraordinary. he hasn't written anything into his fanfic yet. And I'm just like, Nick, stop trying. And I feel like what's gonna happen is we're gonna learn, like, Nick could be an extraordinary, or Nick will be an extraordinary. And, like, that will be our big tie-up at the end, because there is a sequel. But, like, I just think this is taking too long. I'm like, I still have, like, 200 pages left, and I don't understand. I don't understand how we haven't figured it out. How no one has figured it out. How no one has put it together. Like, dude, come on! So it is dragging for me a lot. And I get it. What bugs me is it's acting like YA readers either want a very slow burn reveal or are going to take a very long time to put this together, when it is very obvious. Like, they have made the Shadowstar part very obvious. Pyrostorm, not as obvious, but I feel like obvious enough based on what's happening with the character that is definitely Shadowstar. And I'm like, could you just tell Nick? Or have Nick figure it out, please? Please. I know. Sorry. I am not a YA reader. I should not be this irritated. But also, Nick is like, he's a junior. So 16 or 17. And I'm like, I don't understand how you're not putting it together. You're old enough to put it together. It would make more sense to me if he was younger. Now, I don't want, like, very young heroes running about. But, like, if he was, like, 13, 14... which would be dangerous. Like, I don't want a 13 or 14-year-old hero running around putting themselves in danger. But, like, if he were 13 or 14, I could actually see it. Like, he's younger, he may not put it together as quickly. And that, like, that's just, like, an arbitrary age. I just feel like at the point that you're in your junior year of high school, you would be using context clues occurring around you to be like, wait a hot minute. And you would, like, get it a bit faster. I don't know. Or maybe Nick is just, like, very self-involved, which he is. So maybe that's it. Maybe I just need to be like, Nick doesn't really pay attention to things that are going on around him. And that's why. Which seems very mean to think of the main character. But, like, it's fine. This is not something I would read even at the age demographic it's designed for. Like, the superhero thing, I wouldn't really have picked this up. The books I have read that are YA with superheroes was a little bit different. The book was definitely much shorter, and, like, the plot was different. Like, it wasn't this, like, I'm obsessed with superheroes and I want to become one. It was different. This one, I'm just like, why is this taking so long? Why are we doing this? And, like, it just, again, would not have been something I would have picked up as a YA reader. And I was, like, excited that it was a queer book in the blind book thing, but it needs to be shorter. Like, I don't know why it's not shorter. And that's, like, really tripping me up, because I'm like, it could be shorter. It could be so much shorter. Like, we could have already gotten to the reveals at 200 pages. I have to charge my battery. But yeah, I just think it's taking too long. It is taking too long to get to the actual reveals when we as the reader already know things. There's no way the reader wouldn't have already known who is who at this point. But I need to go. I will fill you in when I finish this book, Gremlins. And I'm sorry I'm being so, like, nitpicky about it and, like, kind of rude. But, like, I can't get it. Like, it's just bugging me. But I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later, Gremlins. Hello, Gremlins. It is a little ways after work and I have finished The Extraordinaries. Now, I will say, there's a twist. The twist got me hooked again, which was good. But I still think this book is too long. So the twist comes, I feel like, is it at like the 100 pages till the end? Yeah, a little bit before then. So there is a twist. Now something very dramatic does happen and we get the twist event. And there's a tease of something else. In connection to being an extraordinary. So most of my guesses were possibly kind of correct, a touch correct. I'm just gonna say, like, the twist though did get me. I was like, ah, that was clever. So I did appreciate the twist. The twist did get me sucked back in, but I just think there's so much buildup that could have been, like, cut out that's not wildly important. We do get a character that tells Nick out for being so self-involved. She basically is like, why do you phrase everything as how it affects you? Like, not everything is a you problem. Like, things affect people. Like, you can't make everything about yourself. He's like, oh, yeah, I guess that is correct. So, like, I did appreciate that. And there is, like, a big event that kind of, like, shocks Nick. on top of like reveals for Nick. But sorry, I keep hitting my hands together. I don't know why. But yeah, so it did hook me again. I was very interested in seeing how everything would tie up. Some of it, again, was a little bit guessable. I will say, again, it's YA, so some of it is going to be formulaic, and I'm not technically the audience. So I am trying to take it with like a grain of salt. Like, I'm not the audience. The audience would be a younger reader than me. But I still think some of my thoughts are like, if I were reading this at that age, I think I would have put some of this stuff together myself too, which is why I don't think the build up to the reveals, which you know is gonna happen, like, I don't think they needed to take that long. I think they could have been cut down. I think we could have cut out some of the sort of exposition-y stuff. We could have still kept the plot of Nick wanting to become an extraordinary, but I think it could have been changed. I think it could have been condensed, just to move things about a little faster. There's just a lot of exposition and like setup of things that I don't think really needs to be there. I think some of the school scenes could have been condensed. I know they are in school. I almost kind of wish this book was set in the summer, so the school setting wasn't going on, but they could still run into people from school, or like, because they all are connected, like they're friends, most of them. There is a character named Owen, the one I mentioned. He's like an adjacent friend, so school kind of just felt like a way to have all of them in a condensed, like in a space together, when we could have just had like they're hanging out somewhere and he shows up consistently, because we really don't spend a lot of time at the school, which is why I'm like, I don't know. And like some of it is just to give Nick like stuff he's supposed to be focusing on, because he still would be taking his medication even if he didn't have school. So I'm just curious as to why it just feels like school seemed like the way to get everyone in the same place, but I don't know that it benefited the story because the school stuff felt very dragged out. So I would like cut the school aspect, or if they are in school, do that thing that like TV shows do where oh gosh, where we only really see people after school, or like they talk about school but we don't actually have to go to school with them, or like they're only ever leaving school or going to school and we're not in their classes, because we did have to go to some of Nick's classes, and those scenes I was like, okay, like I just didn't really want to read them. It was an alright book. I do still think I want to donate this because I'm not going to read this again. Like, this isn't a book I'm drawn to read again. There is a sequel called Flashfire, but admittedly I really am not in the mood for superhero stories. Like, this was not my jam. I was hoping it would be, but because of the length, I think some of that is what got me. If it had been a bit faster, maybe I wouldn't have felt like it was, I just don't know. I don't know. Something about this just like didn't do it for me. And while the sequel could be different, sequel could be faster paced or be set during the summer or fix some of the things that I didn't super like about this one, I just don't feel motivated to hunt it down. And I think someone who is actually the age of like reader this is designed for could really love this. So I think I'm gonna donate it to my library. I have like a little stack of books to donate, and yes, that does sometimes mean that they sell them, but like someone could get their hands on this who really wants it for like $1. They sell YA books for $1 at the book sale, so like they could either put it in circulation or they'll put it for sale. And I really think someone who is not me could really benefit from reading this book, because it's superheroes, it's gay, it's about like a lot of drama, it's a lot of like teen drama, and I think someone who, a teen boy, I feel like a gay teen boy would really love this. I love a male romance, but because the story itself just like was not doing it for me, because it was so slow and like it just wasn't for me, even though I love that this is queer teens. I love that it was all very gay. All of the characters are queer. They all identify in some capacity as part of the LGBTQ plus community. Even if I don't know that Gibby's girlfriend actually says how she identifies, but that she is with Gibby, so it doesn't matter. I did appreciate that. I appreciate that this whole story is gay. I think so many readers could gravitate toward this, and I really think it's just that because it was superheroes and I just wasn't feeling like reading about superheroes, it just didn't do it for me. And that's not the book's fault. I'm not the reader that they have in mind for this. Like, TJ Klune did not write this for a 34-year-old woman who, while bisexual and married to a woman, is still not the target audience of this book. I think someone else will enjoy this so much more than I did, especially if they're looking for that kind of content that I would have wanted as a teenager. So I do think I'm going to donate it for the benefit of queer youth because I do not think I'm going to reread this. And I do think this could find like a great home somewhere else. Now, this vlog is all over the place because I read Clown in the Cornfield 3, and then I read The Dead Husband Cookbook, then Perfume and Pain, and The Extraordinaries. None of these really fit together. So in the diagram, Clown in the Cornfield 3 does have queer characters in it. So in theory, Clown in the Cornfield 3 could connect to The Extraordinaries, though the queer characters aren't really in it very much. They still exist. So like those two could attach to each other. Perfume and Pain, very queer. I can attach The Extraordinaries to that, in that those are all LGBTQ plus reads. The outlier here becomes The Dead Husband Cookbook, because everyone appeared to be straight in that. It was listed as a thriller with a touch of horror, and Clown in the Cornfield 3 is horror, so kind of. None of these really fit together. I've read YA superhero teen romance, lesbian litfic, thriller that hinted at cannibalism, and Clown in the Cornfield 3 does. They both had mentions of cannibalism. So those two connect. If I work really hard, I guess I could connect them all. But this was just reading books that I either, like, I wanted to read and wound up reading. Like, I guess it would just be reading my reading random books off my TBR, kind of. This does mean that I am set up for other books. So I did get a notification that the short story book that I am desperately waiting for is in. I cannot pick that up until tomorrow, but I want to go to the library tomorrow because it's just new release day. So I now kind of have like a clear TBR. I have stuff for like October prepped for Halloween-a-thon. I have some November books I'm specifically holding until November, and I did get those books at Barnes & Noble in this vlog. But I have a plan for those, and I am holding off a tiny bit because I own them, because I'm desperately looking forward to reading that short story collection I've been searching for forever. And then I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can get some new releases at my library on new release day. It's just tricky because my physical library, the one in town, they don't post, like, they do not update the catalog to say they have the copies until day of release. And on top of that, you can't request them online because they're not available for holds, technically. You have to physically go get the book. So I'm just like hoping by the end of day tomorrow, there will be some books that I really want to read at the library, and then I will go from there. So the next couple of vlogs, like 3 vlogs, it'd be 3. The next 3 vlogs are sort of up in the air, kind of, sort of. I have plans for 3 vlogs. One is just that short storybook. I have 2 more vlog ideas that are nebulous right now that depend on what I find at the library tomorrow. Because if I can't get certain books, I'm just gonna have to put in hold requests and see when they come in and read them when they come in. But yeah, this is such a long clip. I don't even know how it was that long. Anyway, that is it. That is the vlog. I'm gonna try and get this out kind of soon because I'm trying to like have stuff ready and out in plenty of time this whole month, because I'm gonna get very busy scare actoring on, because like I have rehearsals and then I'll actually have the haunt starting the last week of the month. So I'm trying to get stuff like prepped and ready so that I have stuff ready to go. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. I've already given you a bunch of hints about videos to come. I'm also on Instagram. I love Go Over After. I always forget to say that part. And I think that's it. Yes. I'm just rambling now. I'm gonna go. I will see you in the next one, Gremlins.